Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Mama June's family embraces dysfunction, all we have left. Mama June. Family Crisis viewers feel heartbroken watching the family mourn Anna's loss this season. Although June Shannon and her daughters have had incredibly difficult relationships over the years, they all came together while Anna Cardwell lived out her final days. In a new interview with People, Mama June and her daughters discussed the importance of family. And at the end of the day, they will always have one another to lean on. The world met Mama June Shannon's larger-than-life family during their appearances on Toddlers and Tiaras and Here Comes Honey Goo Boo. Over the years, there have been countless breakups, new babies, and a lot of family love. Now with the loss of Anna, the family truly realizes they will always have one another. Many viewers see the family as dysfunctional, which they acknowledge and even agree with. "We are dysfunctional," Lauren Pumpkin Efford told POPL in a recent interview with the entire family. But we were saying earlier too, though, it has always kind of just been us. So regardless of all the hardships and the arguing and all that stuff, we are all we have left. Of course, Mama June agreed. Their fathers haven't been involved and stuff like that, the family matriarch shared. So if today, my husband, Justin Stroud, left me, Josh left Pumpkin, Drellin left Alana, Cheyenne left Jessica, we would all have to move in the same house with the babies, and we would just do life. This is Justin's favorite saying, "I've never seen a family like this." We can argue sitting right here, and in an hour later, we're calling each other and talking like nothing ever happened. Mama June continued. This season followed Anna Cardwell's cancer battle and ultimate death. However, most fans feel thankful cameras didn't show Anna's final moments on screen. Instead, she passed away peacefully and off camera. In previous interviews, June Shannon claimed that the producers were incredibly respectful of Anna's wishes while filming. They didn't document anything Anna wasn't comfortable with. And at her final hour, she passed away peacefully surrounded by family. The family cremated Anna and used some of her ashes to make jewelry. We very much still today, even 6 months later, keep her memory alive. For me, I personally have to talk about it all the time. She's actually here with us today. Mama June told POPL in a previous interview. She's here. I always tote her around. The Shannon family had always been a spectacle, their lives broadcast for the world to see. A reality show rooted in the heart of small-town Georgia. The series that began as a quirky exploration of Southern life had morphed into a drama-laden saga of addiction, betrayal, and heartbreak. But through it all, there was one constant: the family's undeniable bond, even as they teetered on the edge of collapse. Mama June, once the boisterous and unapologetically flawed matriarch, had become a shadow of her former self. Her struggle with addiction had led her down a path of self-destruction, leaving her daughters to pick up the pieces. Alana, better known as Honey Goo Boo, was no longer the bubbly pageant queen, but a teenager grappling with the harsh realities of growing up too fast. Lauren, or Pumpkin, had taken on the role of surrogate mother to her younger sister, all while trying to hold together her own fledgling family. Jessica and Anna, the older sisters, had been estranged for years, their relationships with their mother frayed to the breaking point. Yet despite the chaos that surrounded them, the Shannon family was far from broken. They had learned to embrace their dysfunction, realizing it was the only thing they truly had left. The aftermath. It was a warm summer evening when the family gathered at Pumpkin's modest home, a place that had become the de facto headquarters for their fractured clan. The house was small, but it was filled with love, or at least the remnants of it. Pictures of the girls in happier times adorned the walls, a stark contrast to the tension that now filled the air. Alana sat on the worn couch, her eyes fixed on the television, though she wasn't really watching. Her mind was elsewhere, replaying the events of the past year. The arrests, the public scandals, the endless parade of headlines that reduced their pain to entertainment for the masses. She hated it, but she couldn't escape it. This was her life. Pumpkin bustled around the kitchen, her baby son cradled in one arm as she stirred a pot of spaghetti with the other. She was exhausted, the weight of her responsibilities bearing down on her. But she kept moving, kept doing, because she had no other choice. She was the glue holding this family together, and she couldn't afford to crack. They had heard it all before. Mama June's promises were as unreliable as the old car she drove, sputtering and stalling when they needed her most. But still, they waited. They always waited. A family reunited. When June finally arrived, it was with little fanfare. She walked through the front door, her eyes hidden behind oversized sunglasses, her once blonde hair now a dull, lifeless shade. She looked around the room, taking in the familiar faces of her daughters, and for a moment, something like guilt flickered across her face. "Hey, y'all," she said, her voice a little too cheerful, a little too forced. Alana didn't bother to look up. Pumpkin gave her a curt nod. Jessica and Anna, who had arrived shortly after June, stood awkwardly by the door, unsure of how to greet their mother after so much time apart. "You're late," Pumpkin said, her tone devoid of the warmth she used to have for her mother. June shrugged. "Got held up. You know how it is." But they didn't know. They didn't know what it was like to be Mama June, to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders, to be the person everyone loved to hate. And even if they did, they didn't care. They were tired of her excuses, tired of her always putting herself before them. Dinner was a quiet affair. The only sounds were the clanking of forks against plates and the occasional cry from Pumpkin's baby. It was a far cry from the lively meals they used to share, full of laughter and playful teasing. Now the tension was thick, an unspoken understanding that things would never be the same. After dinner, they gathered in the living room, each sister occupying a different corner of the room, as if physical distance could lessen the emotional chasm between them. June sat in the middle, the awkwardness of the situation not lost on her. "I know I've messed up," she began, her voice trembling. "I know I've let you all down, but I'm trying to make things right." The silence was deafening. A glimmer of hope. It was Anna who spoke first, surprising everyone. "We've heard it before, Mama. You say you're gonna change, but you never do." June flinched as if she'd been slapped. "I'm trying, Anna. I really am." "Then show us," Pumpkin said, her voice firm. "Show us you're serious this time." June looked around at her daughters, her eyes pleading. "I don't know how to fix this," she admitted. "But I want to. I want us to be a family again." The room was silent once more, the weight of June's words hanging heavy in the air. It was Alana who finally broke the tension. "We're still a family, Mama," she said softly. "We're just a messed up one." June smiled, a small, sad smile, but it was genuine. "Yeah, we are," she agreed. "But we're all we have left." And in that moment, something shifted. It wasn't a grand reconciliation, nor was it a promise of a happy ending. But it was a start. For the first time in a long time, the Shannon family wasn't focused on the past, on the mistakes and the hurt. They were looking forward, however uncertain the future might be. The road ahead. As the night wore on, the conversation grew lighter, the tension slowly easing. There was laughter, hesitant at first, but real. They talked about the old days, about the silly moments that had made them famous, and for a little while, they were just a family again. Not a perfect one, not by a long shot, but a family nonetheless. When June left that night, there were no tearful goodbyes, no promises of change. But there was a sense of hope, fragile but real. The Shannon family had been through hell and back, but they were still standing. They were bruised, battered, and broken, but they were still together. And in the end, that was all they had left.